Hello, this is the first of 3 short videos. I'm hoping to give you a basic understanding of how the PACE trial got it so wrong. The PACE trial based its conclusions on 2 questionnaires, one on physical activities and a similar one on fatigue. In this video, I would like you to try out the questionnaire that they used on physical activities. So you will need a small piece of paper, a pen or pencil, and you may need to pause the video at times. It is important that you do this properly. I have tried this out several times, and when people have completed the questionnaire, they really start to understand the problem. If you are healthy, you will find it too easy, so perhaps you would like to try to complete it for someone that you know who is ill. Ready? Here are 10 questions. For each one, you have to decide whether you have no problem with the activity, score 10. If you have some difficulty with it, score 5 points. And if you have a lot of difficulty, score 0. I'm not going to give you any more information, just do the best you can to describe how you are at the moment. Remember, you're not being asked to do these things repeatedly over the course of a day, just whether you could manage them at the moment. 1. What about vigorous activities such as running, lifting heavy objects, or participating in strenuous sports? No problem, score 10. Limited a little, score 5. Limited a lot, score 0. Daft question, really. 2. Moderate activities such as moving a table, pushing a vacuum cleaner, bowling or playing golf. Again, no problem, 10 points. Limited a little, 5 points. Limited a lot, no points. 3. Lifting or carrying groceries. Same scoring, 10, 5, 0. 4. Climbing several flights of stairs. 5. Climbing 1 flight of stairs. 6. Bending, kneeling or stooping. 7. Walking more than 1 mile. 8. Walking several hundred yards. 9. Walking 100 yards. 10. Bathing or dressing yourself. 'Now add up your total score. It is out of 100. This questionnaire is used across the whole age range and the whole range of health. So when you are deciding whether you have no difficulty, some difficulty or a lot, you can't just compare yourself with what you used to be like. Lots of people quite normally get out of breath or get twinges or aches after certain activities. At the other extreme, you have people who are bedbound, who, if they are lucky, could just about crawl from the bed to the bathroom. It also covers the very elderly. Think of where you are on that full range. Think of the very large spread of answers. Have you marked yourself down as having a lot of difficulty when in fact there are very many people who would struggle much more than you? Have you focused too much on what you were like before you fell ill, and not enough on how you fit in the wider picture? If you think that is true, pause the video, then adjust your marks. I'll put the questions up again. Comments I get when I ask folk to try this out are, "Is that it? Is that all there is? 10 questions? Have they just bumped the marks up in 5s to make it look better?" but that doesn't really cover my ME symptoms. How do you know the difference between some difficulty and a lot? And other comments that I won't repeat here. Did you change your score at all when I gave you a bit more chat? If you went up by 10 points, in other words you made 2 changes, that was counted by the PACE trial as a worthwhile improvement. But of course you hadn't actually improved, I'd simply persuaded you to grade your answers differently. This questionnaire, along with a similar one on fatigue, lay at the heart of the conclusions made by the PACE trial, that CBT and graded exercise helped over 60% of patients, and that 22% of patients actually recovered. For both CBT and graded exercise, patients had about a dozen one-to-one sessions with a helpful therapist, and they were told that they focused too much on their symptoms, that they weren't as bad as they thought, that many people were much worse, and that this was holding them back. In other words, to change their ratings. Now, half the questions were on walking and climbing stairs, and to their credit, the PACE trial actually tested walking and climbing steps. They also looked at whether people were able to get back to work more, and whether fewer were claiming benefits. But here's the thing, PACE wasn't interested in these results. The truth is that the real results show that CBT and graded exercise didn't have any practical effect. There was no effective improvement. PACE was only interested in whether CBT and graded exercise had persuaded patients to improve how they filled in questionnaires. That's it. To them, simply persuading patients to improve the way they answered the questionnaires would have been enough. And they did manage that, a little. Many patients did bump up their scores, a little. That's the success that PACE claims. But the practical assessments made it utterly clear that there was no proper, real-life improvement at all. That's the failure that PACE ignores. So, after a dozen sessions of CBT or graded exercise, patients shouldn't be expected to be walking better, or able to climb stairs better, get back to work more, or come off benefits. But they may be persuaded to fill in a questionnaire or two differently.